Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to the most interactive wrestling stream on the interweb. Welcome back. It is Big Ohm, September 12th, 2025, a big week for professional wrestling. WWE WrestleMania officially coming to Saudi Arabia. We also are going to be talking about AEW ratings. What's going on there? They had their lowest rating, followed up by a pretty decent one. What's happening with All Elite Wrestling? What's going on? We'll talk about that. We're also going to get into the big thing that I know all of you guys want to talk about. How much money did Saudi Arabia pay for WrestleMania? Well, we're going to break out some calculators. We're going to break out some WrestleNomics charts. Shout out to Brandon Thurston and company. And we are going to talk about all of that and much, much more. Be sure to smash that thumbs up. As you guys know, this is a fan-run stream. If you guys want to have your question or statement read out on the air, you leave it in the chat. We're going to try to get through as many as we possibly can. I try to get through all of them, but sometimes you end up missing some. You want to guarantee your question gets read out live on the air. The best way to ensure that is by leaving a super chat. Anyway, a lot to get into, a lot to talk about. We got Edward in the chat. Sold out worse than corporate rock. Cat emoji, which you can only guess what that means. Only guess. But yeah, no, shout out to Edward for that. We got Michelle in the chat. Hello, Michelle. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully everyone is doing well, as big news is afoot. Obviously today, WrestleMania 43 announced for Riyadh. It is happening. It looks to be April. It is assumed, I should say, to be April 2027. WrestleMania live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Plenty of reports have come out in the aftermath of the press conference, but I really do want to take a look real quick, or listen to the press conference, so you guys kind of get the general vibe. I also did a full breakdown of this press conference earlier, so please check that out, as I'm not going to be repeating too much of that. But let's just take a quick listen to some of the the WWE WrestleMania Saudi Arabia press conference that just happened earlier today, I believe 3 p.m. We had Turkic Al Sheikh, who was on the scene too for that. So real quick, let's take a listen.
That the Royal Rumble is headed to Riyadh January 31st of 2026. And today we announced something that takes this partnership to a new level. So on behalf of His Excellency, on behalf of Nick Khan, WWE President, who was the driving force on this deal, I would like to announce...
So it's Nick Khan's fault. Okay.
...that for the first time ever, WrestleMania will be held outside of the United States and Canada. In 2027, we are proud to announce that WrestleMania 43 will take place in Saudi Arabia as part of Riyadh season.
So there it is. Full breakdown for that in the archives. I did that earlier today. But WrestleMania coming to Saudi Arabia, it was a very interesting event, obviously. And it's a very interesting turn of events. We all knew this was coming. I know that I've been saying this for probably the better part of the past 2 years. And I think once TKO took over, it was inevitable. The bottom line that I need everyone to understand, I know there's some reactions coming in. I'm surprised they invented Liv. I remember Saudi loves her. I mean, yeah, no, they definitely love Liv Morgan in Saudi and in plenty of other places. But ever since TKO took over, I think it has been abundantly clear those people are greedy for money. like TKO. Like, I don't think I have ever seen a business as aggressively upsize as far as the ticket sales and like the market, like everything. Just the amount of progressive monetization that has gone on in WWE is like I think unparalleled in the modern day. Like this was crazy stuff that they've been doing. And when we saw that and when we saw the trajectory that they were on for maximizing that value or whatever, it was a foregone conclusion this was going to happen. You have a company that wants to make as much money as humanly possible. They are even willing to renege on deals that they've already made with localities about WrestleMania. We saw what happened to WrestleMania in New Orleans. It was supposed to be in 2026. Now we don't know when it's going to happen. We know it's locked in at some point, but I assume WWE reserves the right to have that whenever. As far as like what happened in the weeks, months, years leading up to it, it's pretty simple. Saudi Arabia really wanted this. And there were certainly reports out there that originally this may have been pitched as a special edition of WrestleMania because they were not going to have the show of shows, the actual version of WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. Instead, I think it was speculated that there would be something akin to what they did a couple of years ago back in 2018, where Saudi Arabia got the greatest Royal Rumble. And for those of you who may not be familiar, back in 2018, Saudi Arabia held their first ever Saudi WWE branded event, and it was supposed to be the greatest Royal Rumble. So there was already a Royal Rumble that earlier that year. This was a 50-person Royal Rumble that the winner just got like a trophy at the end. But with this one, everyone kind of assumed, well, maybe that's in play. And the reality is it was not. And I don't think that was ever going to be the case. If Saudi Arabia is going to pay top dollar for an event, they were going to pay top dollar for an event. They were going to pay top dollar for the big event. They were going to pay top dollar for WrestleMania. And according to a brand new report from FightfulSelect.com, there was word earlier this year of WWE attempting to do WrestleMania branded events in Saudi Arabia, while still doing a WrestleMania event in North America. Sources connected to the Saudi shows said the government made it clear they wanted an actual WrestleMania. WWE sources also suggested that this is why WWE has gone so hard in promoting WrestlePalooza as a huge event out the gate and plan to moving forward. So, WWE, a train that is not stopping. Saudi Arabia, a train that certainly wanted WrestleMania. We also have this news coming out of the press conference, according to Fightful Select as well. Media and public were not permitted at the announcement for WrestleMania at 43. So it would seem like the people who were clapping, the people who were reacting in that room were not media, were not the public. I will let you guess who they may have been. I will let you guess that. But a lot of news coming in about this stuff. Don't forget WrestleMania Minnesota is supposed to be in 2026. I don't believe so. Minnesota is going to have the SummerSlam in 2026. Yes, a 2-night SummerSlam in 2026, but they are not slated for WrestleMania yet. Right now, the confirmed ones are Vegas next year, Saudi Arabia the year after in 2027, then at some point in the future, New Orleans is guaranteed one, and Indianapolis is guaranteed one. Vegas wants to, by the way, come back every couple of years, every other year, ideally for them. And that is going to be in the mix. You also have the reality of the Orlando localities is also like allocated a lot of money to a bid for WrestleMania. So it looks like they are also going to be in play when it comes to a future WrestleMania event. So, and WrestleMania is a big deal, man. WrestleMania is a massive, massive deal. Safe to say, City of New Orleans literally got the short end of the stick, didn't they? Or am I wrong? I hope I am. I mean, look, they are getting money in the bank for what it matters next year. I mean, are they getting the short end of the stick? Yeah, kind of. They were promised a WrestleMania in 2026. They advertised, they went public with this, and WWE went back on it. And now, it is TBD when they would happen. WWE should, I fully believe WWE will do a WrestleMania in New Orleans. Otherwise, they'd be opening themselves up to litigation potentially. Unless there's a situation where WWE has an out from that, it would be insane if they did, just given the way that I know some of these contracts are done. At least like with localities and these big events. But it would be insane if WWE had an out. But if they have an out, they might just give the money back and be like, all right, look, we got Saudi offering whatever it is. We know it's like an astronomical amount of money, reportedly. I would think that it blows whatever Vegas got out of the water. And, actually, speaking of which, let me just pull this up so we can kind of all see it. So this is via WrestleNomics. Brandon Thurston. We have all these big site fees that WWE got, funding site fees. For those of you who don't know, this is basically money that WWE either gets out the gate to host WrestleMania or a big event in that city, or tax incentives they get from that state or city in order to host the event. So you can see here, Brandon Thurston has gone through all the trouble of pulling together the known site fees. We know that last year Las Vegas got $5 million, or gave $5 million in incentive site fees to WWE. We know that in 2022, Arlington, Texas gave 5.1, and the largest one, they're just coming off of New Jersey, $7.1 million. So I would speculate, and again, this is an educated guess, that whatever Saudi Arabia offered, it was well north of whatever the largest site fee they've ever gotten. I would expect it to be well north of that. And given the amount of money that they have hosted, these Saudi shows produce millions upon millions of dollars for WWE. I don't think that I think it would actually blow whatever the largest site fee they've ever got out of the water completely. And again, site fees are not ticket sales. It's not any of that. Site fees are strictly money that WWE gets either straight up through cash or through other incentives like taxes and whatnot and refunds for hosting an event in that city, from the city. Hi, Omer. Welcome, Leo. Good to see you. I am not watching WrestleMania 43. Easiest skip of all time. Soon, every pay-per-view is in Saudi. Yeah, maybe. Well, hopefully not. We got Frank in the chat. Hey, Omer in chat. What's up, Frank? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. We also have El Juggalo. Juggalos are certainly better bookers than TKO. I am not going to debate that. Although, at the end of the day, Triple H, mind you, is the biggest booker. I will have you know. So, that is where we are there. There's a lot more on this Saudi stuff. So, guys, put your questions in the chat. Put your comments in the chat. If you guys want to leave a super chat, y'all know that's the best way to guarantee your question gets read out on the air. Let's take a look at another development here on the Saudi news. Because, again, the news is coming in fast and furious. I'm, literally in real time, pulling all this together here because it is just storming right in. We have more news courtesy of Mike Johnson, PW Insider. Those spoken to in WWE believe that when 2027 comes, WrestleMania week will have all the usual events such as Raw, SmackDown, Hall of Fame, etc. emanating from Riyadh. They were not aware whether NXT would be a part of the package, but noted it was still early enough for plans to be put in place. So it looks like WrestleMania week in general is going to be a Riyadh-based occurrence. I definitely could see them doing Raw. Maybe Raw is not in Riyadh, but the Raw before Mania is somewhere else. And then all the following events are in Riyadh from NXT through all the way through Raw the next week. I would imagine 100% Raw the next week would be in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Sadiq Khan will have AEW All in London in 2026. WWE's lost. Yeah, I mean, I don't foresee that. I know I made a video about it that not many of you have watched, so go check that out. YouTube is hating me in the algorithm right now. So guys, go check out my archives if you guys want to support the channel like that and get some great content. But yeah, London Mania I don't think is in the cards anytime soon. There's just such a backlog and too much going on. Too much going on. Spam super chats like wrestlers spam super kicks. Absolutely. Spam those super chats as much as you possibly can. All In needs to be in Miami in 2027. Please, TK, please. Miami could be interesting. I mean, 2027, it'd be interesting to see where they're going to do it. Like, I think All In could be... It would depend. It would really depend. I mean, one funny thing is, like, they bring All In to New Orleans. But I don't think that's in the works anytime soon. So we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting because I don't think it's gonna be in London. I don't think that hosting it continuously in Wembley is sustainable. I think you need to break it up. If it's like every other year in Wembley, it's different. But right now, I think going back to Wembley this year is gonna be good for them. Just monetarily, it's gonna be a big gate, and they're gonna have like tens of thousands of people there. But I foresee them having issues doing that every year. I don't think it's sustainable to have All In the same place. And look at Texas. Selling 25 to 29,000 tickets, however much it was for a show, your biggest show of the year, is no small feat. They did that. So it's definitely worth it to play these different markets. Eric Douglas says, with how much they gave, do you see New Jersey getting Mania before the end of the decade? I certainly, I mean, I don't think we don't have the numbers on how much money that actually generated yet. I think that's going to be probably earlier next year. We'll find that out. I do believe that it was successful. And look, WrestleMania is going to come back to New York, New Jersey. It's going to happen. When it happens, we will see. But I foresee that happening. I mean, I don't know. End of the decade is going to be tough because, again, like 2028, 2029, like we're looking at a couple of people who are still have a Mania or two to hand out, So we'll see. Like, there's a bunch of people who need to do who have Manias like on their list, like Indianapolis, New Orleans, Orlando, maybe. We'll see. All In 2027 Miami. The Outrunners win the tag team titles. Absolute cinema. I'm here for it. I think the Outrunners should have been tag champions well before. I think tag team wrestling, has been really bad over the past couple of years. In every major company that's not TNA. Which I feel like is definitely going to be a bit of a hot take, but it's true. It's just true. Like, you look at AEW tag team wrestling, it's been bad. WWE, we know they don't give a shit about tag team wrestling, so. We got another big piece of news coming out, courtesy of FightfulSelect.com. The likes of Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock have not yet been approached for potential matches over a year and a half down the line in WrestleMania 43. I said this in my video, and I went into more detail there, so please go check that out. I do think that The Rock is in the cards for WrestleMania 43. I would be very shocked if the question is not asked by Saudi Arabia to have the Rock at WrestleMania in a legitimate, like, main event level capacity. I think the best chance that WWE has at this point of doing Roman versus Rock is probably that. I think that it's not happening at 42 in Vegas. It's just not happening unless The Rock changes his entire schedule. I don't foresee it. He's about to go do this big Scorsese movie. He's coming off of probably a very high. He's gonna be winning awards, or he's gonna be nominated for like high profile awards, like Golden Globe, that level of stuff. Like he's gonna get that for his latest movie, and I think that with The Rock, that means his schedule is only gonna get busier and busier and busier. So if that's the case, well, unless he gets offered a boatload of money, which who has the ability to offer him a boatload of money? Saudi Arabia 100% does. I don't foresee him appearing at Mania next year, but I think 43 is probably the best shot. Why did the WWE get cold on Travis Scott? They had a falling out. Why they had a falling out, I am not sure, but it is abundantly clear from the reports that we've seen, from the way that the likes of Paul Heyman and others have spoken about him, something fundamentally went wrong in that relationship, and they did not see eye to eye, and they're not talking, it would seem. Don't forget the Mark Kerr movie he's doing now. Yep. Yeah, that's the one he's going to win probably some awards for, or at least be nominated for awards for. Travis Scott was too busy, WWE. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think people rightfully so expected Travis Scott to be doing something on WWE TV, coming off of that insane angle with John Cena. Obviously, that never materialized in the way they wanted to, and it's unfortunate because you didn't pay off the biggest angle arguably the biggest angle in your company's history, or what could have been, I should say, the biggest angle in your company's history. Now it's just the most botched angle in your company's history. Probably like the most botched angle of all time. I'm not saying it's like as visually bad as like the Shockmaster. Like the Shockmaster, right, is, as a meme, the most botched angle of all time. But John Cena's last run, John Cena's heel turn specifically, is the biggest disappointment in the history of professional wrestling. And it's something that we don't talk about. It's something that a lot of other content creators won't talk about because whatever. But it's the truth. It's the truth, because we know this. If any other wrestling company did that, if TNA did that, if AEW did that, if GCW was big enough, if GCW did that, it would be a completely different conversation. I don't understand why WWE gets treated with kid gloves so often by the wrestling media, but that's why I'm here. Travis Scott got issues with WWE wrestlers like Drew McIntyre. I mean, I don't know that, but I could see Drew being like, "Who's this Mark?" John Cena needs a second retirement tour. I will die on this hill, but imagine Cena in AEW. The wrestling world would break. He should go to Japan too. His retirement tour in WWE has been... it's not happening, but yeah. Although I do think that, it would be the funniest meme of all time if Saudi Arabia is able to get John Cena out for another match in 2027. He's like, one final time, voices in the air, The Rock and John Cena telling me to listen. Like just do the whole stare down, everything. That would be hilarious. I would laugh my ass off watching that. Give me Cena versus MJF now. That'll be a hellacious match. That'll be an insane match, man. Almost as insane as the people who haven't hit that like button. Guys, hit that like button. We're almost to 10. There's 17 of you in here. I know one or two of you got that. That's right there. Just scroll and hit. Anyway. A lot to talk about. I think I may have read this, but I don't think I did. WWE is getting paid a mind-blowing amount of money to hold WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, according to PW Insider. As is expected. We got Michelle saying, I'm from the UAE, so I'm looking at WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia differently, but I respect everyone and welcome anyone's opinion. Absolutely. Like, look. And again, I mean, I am not like I think it's very clear that like when I talk about Saudi Arabia and you know the negatives, I am clearly talking about the government. I'm not gonna do a CM Punk thing where where I make it, you know, equal or whatever. I equivocate the government with the people and I apologize for it. No. I think that the Saudi regime and their actions are not reflective of the people. I don't think the actions of any regime is totally reflective of the people. Um, but you know, like personally, right? Like I will say, as a Muslim, as someone who has followed a lot of the geopolitics in that region, as someone who, you know, in a way feels tied to that region. I see what's happening with the way WWE is going out of their way to be over complimentary of this, because look, they're holding WrestleMania, or if they're holding an event in the United States, it doesn't involve like glazing of Trump, right? Well, maybe it will moving forward, but usually it doesn't involve glazing of the president. But here we are, and it's like we're thanking all these different like government leaders, but on top of that, we're talking about things have changed completely, when like fundamentally they've not. Also, Saudi Arabia like funded the bombardment of Yemen. So anyway, yeah, no, read up on that. Read up on that if you haven't. I also have some links I can share with y'all if y'all want it and you want to geek out with me. I'm from Iran, so same. Yep. And like, look, I like. Here's the thing. I think like it's totally fine for like Saudi fans or whatever to want to WrestleMania. Like, they should get a WrestleMania. I'm not saying that. I just say the way that WWE is going about it, it's like clearly this is more so for propagandistic reasons, and it's driven by greed. It's driven by money. It's driven by very malicious factors, and not for what's better. I don't care who has what religion, what political side you are, what beliefs. We're all different, and that's okay. I agree. Roll Tide. Roll Tide, baby. All right. Anyway, history lesson, propaganda lesson over. Let's get into what the hell this means. So, I know a lot of you are probably wondering, well, okay, we know why WWE is bringing Saudi Arabia or WrestleMania to Saudi Arabia. We know what's good, but like, how is this changing the dynamic and like kind of what led us here? As I said before, TKO is very brutal, ruthless, and you know, tactical when it comes to getting as much money as they possibly can out of this cash cow, being WWE. It has been the truth ever since they had that first ever what's it called? The event? No. Ever since the merger. That's what I meant. Ever since the merger, they have made it clear that their intention here is to take WWE from a company that appeals to families, a company that appeals to, you know, wrestling fans, and make it bigger and make it like an attraction in a way that Vince McMahon fundamentally could not, and they have succeeded in that. But in doing so, from rising ticket prices to the, you know, over commodification and over indexing of advertising on WWE programming, not just on the ring mats or anything like that, but overall, it is just insane where and how far they've come. And in my view, I think that it has been to the detriment of the product. It has been to the detriment of the storylines. It has been to the detriment of the company's reputation in the minds of a lot of people. But I say that, and the company is as popular and probably more popular than they've ever been. So, how did we get here? I think at the end of the day, you just got like a bunch of people who are like, and I see this fucking super chat. I'll read it. Look. Thank you for the $6.99 Canadian. I'll read it in a second. Let me finish. You know what? Fuck it. All right, whatever. I'm the type of guy to put president of Bryan Danielson fan club on his LinkedIn. You know what? Okay, you know what? Y'all act like that's a bad thing. Y'all act like that's a thing to make fun of me about. But you know what? Fuck it. All right, man. You want to see? I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll update my LinkedIn. Actually, wait. Is there a Bryan Danielson? Watch there be a Bryan Danielson fan club that I'm not a part of? Okay, so there is a Bryan Danielson Sri Lanka fan club, but not a Bryan Danielson fan club. All right, so here we go. I will. You know what? Just for that Wall Street money, thank you for the $6.99 Canadian. We're doing that. I love that it's $6.99 Canadian dollars in particular. Nice, yeah, real nice Wall Street money. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you. And Bryan Danielson would see it. Bryan Danielson don't got no LinkedIn, bro. What you mean? That motherfucker don't got no LinkedIn. Bryan Danielson's like bro said he doesn't even answer his cell phone for anyone. He's just like, yeah, I'll check it once a day and I'll see what happens. I'm like, oh wow, that's a lot of messages. And he gets nervous. Oh man, but thank you, Wall Street Money. I will update my LinkedIn promptly. Money is the thing that their company cares about the most. So they don't expect them to support anything you believe in, because if the money isn't there, they will betray you every time. Yeah, certainly. I think that's where WWE is. And again, like, let's take the bad PR out of it completely. Earlier this week, and I'm going to try to find the exact quote because I do not want to misquote Mark Shapiro. But as early as this week, Mark Shapiro, the president of TKO, said, one second, here we go. Actually, this is not a quote, but he basically, this is an aggregation of what he said, so please take it with a grain of salt. But at a Goldman Sachs conference of all places, TKO president Mark Shapiro states that Vince McMahon was primarily pricing tickets for families and wasn't focused on maximizing the opportunity to increase prices like TKO is focused on doing. So that is basically him telling on himself that, yeah, no, we are going to increase. We have increased tickets more. Under the McMahon regime, they were more affordable. And they're open about this. And the thing is, it is simply because their main audience, and this is my biggest problem with WWE today, WWE's main audience is not the fans. It is not you. It is not me. It is not people who have been watching wrestling, whether it be for 2 years or 20 years. Their main audience today, more so than it has ever been, are rich-ass shareholders. Their main audience are the people who own stock in TKO. Their main audience are people who get dividends and yearly bonuses that would make anyone look at that and cry if they even had a chance to make that in their entire life. They are not focused, and this is why the product has been as bad as it's been. They're not focused on telling stories for the people that matter, the people who tune in. They're focused on telling stories for the executives. The Raw on Netflix debut is the biggest example of this I have ever seen. That was not a show for any type of wrestling fan, whether you be casual or an older fan. That was not for you. Fundamentally not the case. It was not even to bring new people in. That was so that everyone up in those luxury boxes, everyone up in those awesome, front row seats could glaze themselves about how dope they're doing and how much freaking money they're gonna make. That's why they brought out The Rock to talk about the biggest gate and look how much we charge you. I'm the final boss and I love you, Cody. Mwah, mwah, mwah. That's why they did that. It wasn't to come out there and tell a story. It wasn't to come out there and introduce pro wrestling. It wasn't to come out there and advance this new era of WWE. To this day, I agree with Leo Rillick in the chat. To this day, Raw on Netflix genuinely might be the worst episode of wrestling programming I have ever seen. As far as like shows that were like hyped up, it may be the worst I have ever seen. I don't know in what world you would put that on TV and expect people to continue to watch. And why do you think the ratings have cratered? Why do you think the ratings have cratered on Raw since then? Like we are like, and people still want to tout this as such an innovation, whatever. It's not. WWE got their bag and they're out. Come on. I've heard rumors that TKO is going under about $70 to $100 million debt. Oh, they're fine. The latest deals, like whatever debt they had, they are good on. These latest deals have made sure of that. TNA 2014 is better than Raw on Netflix. Brother, TNA in like peak Vince Russo 2002, 2004, whatever it was, it's better than Raw on Netflix. Come on. That's why, Omar, if AEW decides to do a deal with Saudi, one, I wouldn't be surprised or shocked because in another company that let us down, so I don't know, man. It's depressing to talk about this. No, I don't think they're going to do a deal with Saudi. I think WWE pretty much is locked in the Saudi relationship. I don't think there's room for AEW. Now, could AEW do it? Now, if AEW really wants to one-up WWE and like doing like, you know, like, oh, what problematic country can we do business with? Yeah, they're gonna be like, all right, look, yeah, we're gonna do Russia, Putin. What's going on? All in Moscow, or go to like, oh my God, they go to Israel and be like, yeah, all in Tel Aviv. Like, yeah, no, that's not fucking happening. I don't think I would. That would be you guys want to see me crash out? Yeah. Yeah, which genocidal country can we go to next? Is hopefully a game I don't feel like. I hope we don't start to play. All in Iran. All in Iran would be wild. Do you imagine the Ayatollah watching wrestling for the first time? Like, what the fuck is this? All in DPR. Oh, here we go. See, now you're cooking Wall Street money. Collision in Korea, too. Wait, that would be wild. You do Collision in Korea too. Imagine Jericho going to Korea doing his like, hello. Yes, I'm Chris Jericho, baby. We're bringing rock and roll in Pyongyang. That would be insane. Bringing rock and roll to Pyongyang. All in Abu Dhabi could happen. Yo, I'm crying. All in Pyongyang would be crazy work. Oh my God. AEW Tony Khan need to do a deal with Monaco, Sydney, Japan, Brazil. Monaco is a wild one. Monaco, I'm not going to Monaco. Isn't Monaco like one of the most expensive countries in the world? Hell no, I'm not going to Monaco. I could see All In going to Japan or Mexico for sure, though, as Eric Douglas pointed out. Forbidden Door Korea would be crazy. That would be wild. Almost as crazy as the 9 or 10 of you who have not hit that like button, who are just watching this free balling. Stop free balling. Hit that like button. Yes, I just use free balling like that. Anyway. I don't even know how we got here, people. We got Ripshot saying, I'm excited to see WrestleMania 2030 on the moon. Mofo, you wish it was just the moon. It's going to be... There's a reason they call it the WWE Universe. We're going to Jupiter, baby. We're skipping Mars. All right? We're skipping... Look, we just thought we could extract more value out of Jupiter than Mars. You know, the Martians just, they're not the most high value added people, you know. We felt like the Jupiterians, they're more of our peak clientele where we can just get money from them. Oh my God. I don't know why I did that. Sorry. I just accidentally hit the wrong button. All in Iran can happen if you know what well, anywho, In order to not get anyone who may or may not be in Iran in some trouble, I am going to quickly change the subject and talk about what is this, WrestleMania Milky Way? No, that would actually work because it would both be the location and the advertisement that they would need. Which is the corporate synergy is crazy. AEW, WWE, Forbidden Wars, International Space Station. Yo, I am so convinced we're gonna have there's gonna be a space wrestling show in the next like 15 years. I'm so convinced of that. Like there has to be. Please, someone do a space wrestling show. Triple H doing the press conference from like the International Space Station. Look, I said we were a global brand, but we're not. And he's like floating around. That would be hilarious, bro. I would like, dog. That would be so funny. Oh man, guys, what a stream this is. Oh man, what do we got here? WWE times AEW times WWE All In counter programming WrestleMania 30 or 2030. Yeah, maybe. AEW WWE intergalactic. Yeah, I think things would get very intergalactic, very much so. Okay. So, all right. What am I doing? I'll just get confused. It happens sometimes. All right. Let's switch gears real quick and talk about AEW ratings. So one of the biggest talking points was last week AEW had their lowest ratings ever. What did Leo say? Every single day the stream gets more sus, and I love to see it. That's why we're here, man. That's why we're here. I'm the kid. You know how like. You know how people call themselves like sauce? I'm like the king of sauce. I'm the king of sus. King Sus the first. All these locations are possible, but AEW is never going to do a pay-per-view. Baltimore, fuck off. What do you not? They have done a pay. Damn it! I keep pushing the wrong button. They have done a pay-per-view in Baltimore. I'll have you know. AEW Full Gear 2019 happened in Baltimore. Well, Baltimore. Okay. Happened in Baltimore. They've never come back for a pay-per-view. They come back for Dynamite, but never a pay-per-view. We'll be back. Though Baltimore's back up soon. Baltimore's going to be back up soon. Don't you worry. I'm the king of sus. Feel like AEW ratings are about to go up after today's announcement. Potentially. Anyway, speaking of AEW ratings, let's talk about them real quick. Last week, they hit their all-time low ratings they've ever had, well under the 500,000 mark. It was like 450 something. Horrible rating, like objectively horrible rating. Question was, were they going to be able to bounce back? And like Wednesday, as I'm sure you guys know, insane news day after the shooting of Charlie Kirk. So like everyone, and myself included, believed like that would take even more of a share out of their viewership. But then I realized, well, wrestling fans are wild because look at that. There we go. They are not the normal fans, let me tell you. September 10th, 2025, AEW did 584,000 live viewers, well over 100,000 plus, I believe, from the previous week. I think Brandon Thurston actually breaks this down for us here. So yes, last week it was actually 472. So a 24% increase from last week. This episode versus the previous 4 weeks. So it's like right in line with where they've been recently. And about a 13% decrease from Q3 last year. So anyway, they added well over 100,000 live viewers from last week who did not tune into this week. And you know, I think, you know, part of the reason I think that you can kind of attribute these lower ratings for AEW, especially last week, was I think, you know, the follow-up to a fantastic Forbidden Door show was very underwhelming. Let's be honest. It was extremely underwhelming. I think that AEW should have done more to maximize their value in their show and their flagship in Dynamite, and they didn't. Because you would expect, like, coming out of Forbidden Door, you had some of these big angles, these big matches, and you did nothing to follow up from it, right? And part of it, okay, Wardlow, he was injured. He couldn't do anything. That's fine. Explain it on TV. Explain it on TV. Move on. That's my thing with AEW. I feel like whenever someone gets injured, they never really talk about it on TV. They never really explain it. They just kind of ignore it until the person returns. And I understand that, you know, you're not going to talk about every injury, but you should try to like build some anticipation for someone's return. Now Wardlow, are you going to build anticipation for his return? I'm not sure, because obviously he's got quite the injury history. So I get all that, and I'm understanding of that. But like, dog, Jay White, dog, like what are we doing here? Like, say this person is out of action. We're going to replace this with this, and there's going to be a major announcement. Like, do something like that. Follow up on it. Continue that story. They did not do that. And you combine that with something Leo Relic just brought up. AEW shouldn't have booked the 2300 residency right after something like Forbidden Door. You went from nearly 19,000 people at Forbidden Door in the O2 Arena in London, one of the most insane crowds you've ever had, to 900 people in Philadelphia. And the thing is, the 2300 arena has a mystique about it because of what it is. But the issue is, on TV, if you're going to run like a smaller venue, it needs to have some sort of like an aesthetic vibe. Think Hammerstein Ballroom. Why did that residency work? Why does it work whenever AEW, WWE, NXT, whoever runs it, it looks cool? It's because you look at it and it looks like it's an interesting venue on TV. You got like all the high rises, the balconies. It looks cool. I thought that the place that they did the Chicago residency from, the theater they did the Chicago residency from, it looked cool. You had balconies people were jumping off of. You had like it genuinely had its own aesthetic, own vibe. The 2300 arena, the ECW arena, doesn't have that, and it's not like they have like, you know, big posters of ECW they can post up, because again, they'd probably get sued by WWE if they ever did that. So I don't know. I think that, you know, whatever it is, you got to figure something out. But I get why they did this residency. That being said, could they have done more with it? Certainly. I think it was quite underwhelming. And the follow-up to Forbidden Door has been pretty underwhelming. The build-up to All Out has been pretty bad. Outside of the FTR and Copen Cage stuff, it's been pretty bad. I liked the segment between Hangman and Kyle Fletcher this past week. I like what they're doing with... I will say, okay, sorry. The two things that they built up very nice for All Out are the tag team match I just mentioned, and then MJF and Mark Briscoe. That's a fantastic build. Outside of that, I think the builds have been just nonchalant. No one really cares. Dynamite 288 Arena was real cool. What was the Dynamite 288? What was that? Refresh my memory. Was that the... Oh, was that Baltimore? Are you just like... All right, whatever, man. He's trolling me about Baltimore, whatever. All right, I get it. AEW is going to be fine in the long run if wrestling's good. They have to have an audience that's what helps them most, like Sammy and the Bloodline story is peak. So now WWE is on the decline. They're good. Yeah, I mean, I think AEW is at least going to be okay. Like as far as like ratings go, like they have HBO. They're going to be pushed heavier on HBO now that HBO is like doing these pay-per-views, and they have even more of an incentive to try to really push AEW. So they're going to have that, but they're in a very difficult position as a challenger brand. WWE's made deals with all of these major companies. WWE's made deals with the with ESPN. WWE's made deals with NBC. WWE's made a deal with Netflix. It limits AEW's options for their next TV deal, but it also like inflates the awareness of WWE to a lot more people because these larger brands are talking about them. The episode where the Ops beat the Death Rider for the Trios Championships. Yeah, that was in Boston. That was in Boston. That was a really cool theater they ran. I think that was the Fenway. It was like right outside of Fenway Park. No one. MJF. I was married for one day. That was okay. Okay, like, here's the thing. MJF cut what might be my favorite promo of the year. That was that felt like, you know what that felt like? That felt like old school NWA, like backstage freaking like Ric Flair at his peak. Just I do. Like it's such a good promo. Hold on. I you know what? I need to geek out. Because that was such a fantastic promo by MJF. Let's take a listen.
Hate you, ma'am. Yesterday was my wedding. That's right. This morning I hopped up out of my silk-lined bed and I made a beeline dash to the front door of my house.
Okay, I can't really show all of it.
My newlywed wife, she screams out to me. She goes, "Where are you going? What about our honeymoon?" I said, "Toots, no honeymoon can start until Mark Briscoe is dead." And just as I started twisting that doorknob, she screams out, "If you leave right now, we're done." You know what I said, Mark? I said, "You silly little bitch."
Oh, dear.
I was married way before I ever met you. I am married to the game. I am married to hate. I am married to vengeance. I am married to ending you, Mark. So, Mark, I left that door. I left that house. I swung it out open, and I did it with a smile on my face. And on Collision, I am going to walk down that aisle, and whatever stupid stipulation you pitch for All Out, you know what my answer is going to be, Marky? I'm going to give you the same answer I gave on my wedding night.
Here we go.
I do! By God! I do.
He's on a different level than everybody else, bro. Like, he's so good. like he's so good. Ah! Man, we got BJ Dixon. What's up, BJ Dixon? Saying, my favorite segment from Dynamite. I think so. Hunter in the chat says, All Out will be solid. It will be a solid show. I think the build, though, has been weaker than past AEW shows, certainly. I've been married to the game. Yo, such a good line. I do. By God, I do. The reason I had to flip back and forth, by the way, is because so I don't get like copyright stricken by AEW. That was fair use. MJF knows his actual honeymoon is going to be paid properly by Tony Khan. I have a feeling it already is. Collision is going to be better than Dynamite this week. You know what? Probably. It usually, like past couple of weeks, Collision has been a banger compared to Dynamite. I don't believe he actually told his wife. Yo, Alicia Atut was like tweeting like, "Hey, yo, bro, where'd you go?" We just got married. All right, whatever. Because MJF legitimate as a shoot the day after his wedding showed up on Collision. He's married to the game. That's for damn sure. Tony really tweeted MJF's wedding was the best wedding ever. Only to be reminded that Sam and Ty were not going to be happy with that. And then he's like, no. Both 6-star weddings. Yo, Tony's funny. AEW All In should have a flexible venue for pay-per-views. Example, All In London, Wembley, All In Houston, Texas at Dakin Park. Maybe, yeah, for sure. Tyrese, what's up, man? Good to see you. Frank, what's up? His wife works for AEW, so she's into kayfabe. Yeah, I would still imagine that she's like, yo, bro, like, no honeymoon though. Like, or don't we got things to do? You know. But yeah. Oh, here's an interesting tweet. Shout out to Sean Ross Sapp for this. Bianca Belair, apparently in the press conference for the Saudi announcement, said that she sees Saudi Arabia evolve each time she goes there and is proud to be a part of the progress and change happening. Inshallah. All Out is going to be a banger. AEW has restored the fun. I'm watching wrestling from the Ruthless Aggression era. AEW is a very fun show to watch. I agree. And the pay-per-views are like, the pay-per-views are God tier. Like those are legitimately like S tier level events. Oh, we have an interesting. Okay, sorry. Like I said, I clicked the wrong thing. Like I said, we have news about the Saudi situation popping up more and more. So this is according to Wrestling Observer's newsletter. So Dave Meltzer and co. Those close to the Saudi General Entertainment Authority have claimed a deal for The Rock to wrestle at WrestleMania 43 is close to being finalized. Saudi Arabia in August were pushing for The Rock versus Cody or Roman. The Rock's pay would be the highest amount a pro wrestler has received for an event in the history of the industry. All of this would track, if it is true, all of it would track very heavily with, I think, a lot of the assumptions that fans have. The Rock will probably get, if he decides to wrestle, he'll probably get the most money that anyone's ever gotten for a wrestling show. And I think Saudi Arabia definitely wants him. What's up, Fab? Fazb? I almost called you Fab. What's up, Fazb? Everyone in the Saudi live stream from WWE was typing sellout. I did see that. That was crazy work. Besides, Alicia and MJF fly in many cities by wrestling itself anyway. Isn't it a honeymoon on its own? I think she would... Look. I assume at some point MJF is going to go on a honeymoon. I assume. Rock versus Roman happening in Saudi. Yep. Oh, the highest pay. Where is WWE saying it's unfair pay? What they did was smart. Oh, well, look. We didn't want to pay that motherfucker anything. Like, come on, bro. Like, yeah. Look, I mean, remember, this is TKO. The same company that owns UFC, which, like, 100% does not want to pay its fighters a fair share at all. So, that's it's what it is, people. It's what it is. Ooh. You know what else it is? 17 of you watching, only 14 likes. Let's get that like number up, people. Hit that like button. Hit it like there's no tomorrow. Dog, this is crazy work. Also, I mean, like, the thing that people don't talk about, right, is one of the cool things, and I don't know if people who haven't been to Mania have, like, not experienced this, but one of the cool things about WrestleMania traditionally is, like, not just Mania and everything that entails itself, but the, like, indie events surrounding WrestleMania. Like, every year you have the, you know, big GCW shows around. You have Josh Barnett Bloodsport. You have, Effie's Big Gay Brunch, which there ain't no way that's going to happen in Saudi Arabia, right? You have Joey Janela's Beach Break. I don't think Joey Janela and GCW are going to be flying out to Saudi Arabia anytime soon. So, you know, there is going to certainly be an element of of wrestling that is missing from a traditional WrestleMania week. I don't think WrestleCon is going to be in Saudi Arabia. I don't think, like, what I could see is a lot of those events maybe, like, coalescing around one place. And honestly, like, this is, like, just me getting into the mind of an owner or a business owner. If I'm Tony Khan and, like, I'm looking at the situation, I would 100% think about taking Super Card of Honor, which they have now moved out of its traditional WrestleMania week slot, and putting it back in there. I would legitimately think about having ROH Super Card of Honor or something like that in a major city the weekend of WrestleMania. That way, you become a bit of the attraction. That way, you become a bit of the Saudi Khan is crazy, but like you can kind of do that a little bit. So that's just me. It's just what I think that is available to them. WWE's a sellout. It sounds like the chat from the announcement stream. 4D chess, if you ask me. AEW should do a US event the same day as WrestleMania just so they can get WWE to counter program them by WWE counter programming themselves. Oh, 40 chess is true. That's funny. Oh my gosh. What do we got here? I got an ad, so didn't hear anything past the same company that. Well, I don't know. The same company that does a lot of shit, probably. I think that the ticket prices are not high enough. Yeah, Nick Khan did say something like that. I think he was joking, but you ain't nobody. Well, this nobody is going to continue to talk about wrestling. Anyway. Man, oh man. What a time to be alive, people. Apparently, Rusev backstage on SmackDown is slated to face Jacob Fatu in a dark match tonight. So my boy Jacob got bounced off the main card to the dark match of the night. I would be glad when it comes a day where WWE versus AEW show, but sadly, I don't see that happening, especially when it comes to two owners. I can add a little bit of commentary to this. I think that will happen. I certainly think that will happen. I think that we will see in 2026 AEW and WWE do a show directly head-to-head, pay-per-view. WWE, their main goal with going head-to-head with AEW or trying to go head-to-head with them is to bring those pay-per-view buys down and to kind of, bully them not only out of their time slot, but potentially hurt the chances of them having a deal. Certainly, the amount of deals that WWE have made, the exclusive deals they've made with a lot of these big media partners have limited where AEW can go. But additionally, I think there's an element of that where WWE wants to just prove, and in the perception that they are just bigger. They want to dominate the social media airwaves. They want to dominate the news airwaves. They want to dominate everything. And it will happen. It will happen. Like I would put money that will happen. The reason is I think WWE is going to be more aggressive about that in 2026. And while I do agree with the idea of AEW for this specific event, the first ever big WWE event on ESPN, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on it. It's probably going to be the biggest event they have for a while on the ESPN app. Despite what I think AEW in the long run should do, which is go head to head and not be bullied off of their turf, it was probably the right decision to not do it on this show, because I think there's an argument to be made that this is also AEW's first big show on HBO. It's a very different type of show and a very different type of deal for them. But despite that, it is still a major event for them. So I don't think they want to hurt their pay-per-view buys. That's why they moved to the 3 p.m. time slot. Moving forward, though, I think at some point, Tony Khan needs to just stand his ground a bit. I think AEW needs to stand their ground. And I think that there is certainly like a bit of an underdog story that they can kind of spin this into. As far as look, WWE is not pro wrestling. We are the last bastion of pro wrestling. Look at everything we're doing. Look at our partnerships with New Japan, with all these different companies. Look at all of the stars we're highlighting. Look at the stories we're telling. Look at everything we're doing. It's not pomp and circumstance. There's not just flash. It's everything that you want out of pro wrestling. And don't let them take it away from you. Like on whatever, Saturday, February, whatever, we're doing AEW Revolution. It's going to be the greatest show you've ever seen, and you're going to watch the best wrestling. You're going to watch AEW or the best wrestle. Like, there's definitely an angle to do that, and I think that it, you can galvanize a lot of people. You can make sure that you got like a hardcore base, and you can see where you're at. And I think that's going to happen. It's going to have to happen at some point, because I don't think that AEW should like just do that. I think AEW should like make sure that WWE understands that they're not going to be bullied off their turf, because you can only do that so many times. wear a suit, light up a cigar, and talk New Japan. It will happen. I'm actually thinking about starting a New Japan podcast at some point. I have a co-host in mind who may or may not be in a very different time zone than me, so we got to figure that out. Dog, it's a Middle Easterner. I watch all the shows at 4:30 a.m. here, but I agree TKO is not a good owner of WWE. Oh, I missed some chats here. Do you think TKO will sell WWE? Not anytime soon. Unless like an astronomical offer that they cannot ignore it comes up. I just think there's too much. They're in a building phase right now. I don't see them selling for at least another like 10 years. At least. I think they want to build this up. Rusev really returned to WWE to eat shit. Yeah, the crazy thing is the big word or speculation about Rusev in AEW was he didn't want to job to people. He didn't want to put over Powerhouse Hobbs. He didn't want to put over, a lot of the Wardlow. And like that. That's what we're hearing from our reports. And well, he comes in and now he's like, I want to help the young guys. And it's like, all right. Well, all right. I know what happened. WWE wrestler versus AEW wrestlers, one show. Oh yeah, well that won't happen that one probably won't ever happen. WWE is pushing us who have watched WWE for 30 years. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they pushed me away. I don't even watch it. Like, I can't even watch Raw now. Can't even watch Raw because it's not a good show. And there's too much baggage. It's just too much. It gets to a point where you gotta like protect your own like we watch wrestling. Like I know I cover it, so it's a bit different. But I am like I'm a bit insane, guys, when it comes to pro wrestling. Like I will watch even bad pro wrestling is usually like good to me. I can find some joy or something in it. I've not been able to find that joy in WWE as a product. I certainly cannot find any joy with the way that WWE and TKO go about their business practices. But yeah, it's super sad. AEW has already established their hardcore fans, the sickos, have been selling well. And now they need to expand. I think they could. I do think that the underdog story or whatever could definitely help them do that. WWE is going the Disney route. Yep, they certainly are. They certainly are. We got Andrew Baydala, who covers wrestling, has been featured in a couple of very credible places, saying, I'm glad that I experienced WrestleMania in all its stages, from arenas, stadiums, 2 nights, etc., attending over 15 events, both for pleasure and for business. The international expansion seemed inevitable, but I always felt WrestleMania should remain in North America or even the UK. Money talks, though. I'm less kind of inclined about it should only be in these places. I think WrestleMania should be everywhere. I have no problem with that. But I do think it is it's just interesting the way this came together. Only time I actually watched SmackDown was when AJ Lee came back. I did watch AJ Lee's come back. That was dope. Andrew Baydala. Hunter Dobbs says, give me AEW over WWE any day. That's an interesting story here. Eddie Kingston gave an interview where he said, Eddie Kingston says he found out his insurance wasn't covering his knee surgery the day of his operation. Tony Khan took care of it. When I had hernia surgery 3 years ago, my insurance at the time said they would cover it. The day of the surgery, they said they couldn't cover it. Thank God other people took care of this one. It happened, same insurance with the knee injury. The day of the knee surgery, they said no, we're not covering it. The surgeon knew because he'd seen this before with this insurance. He was like, let me make a couple of calls. Tony took care of it. Thank God that was it. So, and Eddie Kingston had pretty serious knee surgery too. John Cena returning again at WrestleMania 43. I would not. I don't think that's gonna be in the cards for 43. Waking up in the morning for WrestleMania 43, that card better be fucking stacked. Every match has a story, purpose for it to be worth it. Waking up at 10 a.m. to watch that shit. That is a real ass take if I've ever seen it. That is a real ass take. Bro said nah. like no jokes. All gas, no brakes. That is a real take. Certified real take. I might be nuts, but I love WWE and AEW regardless of the mess with both companies. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Why didn't bro switch his insurance? I don't know. But whatever insurance Tony Khan. Well, actually, no, AEW does not provide insurance. But whatever insurance. Well, they should. Actually, no. Every wrestling. If you're a company the size of AEW, you 100% need to provide your wrestling insurance. It's insane, fucking goofy that they don't. Fucking goofy that WWE hasn't with all the money the value they're extracting and bullshit like that. WWE's PlayStation, AEW is Xbox, New Japan is Steam, Nintendo. We won't mention that for litigious. F Nintendo. We won't mention that for litigious reasons. When are you introducing the RTW World Championship? Pretty soon. I actually have thought about rebranding the channel just to RTW because I feel like Real Take Wrestling is way too long-winded. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about a lot of things. Try my best to turn this into something that people want to watch. Actually, no. What am I talking about? People want to watch because I have all of you wonderful humans here watching, spending time with me, and I love every single one of you from the bottom of me heart. Bro said, Kervin said, I'm glad your country's getting WrestleMania 43 about time. Hey, bro, that's not my country. Hey, bro, I'm gonna put that on me. I'm not Saudi. I'm not Arab. I'm Pakistani. I'm American. I'm Pakistani. All right, I'm American Pakistani. My country is not getting WrestleMania. Pakistan getting a WrestleMania will be nuts, though. That would be nuts. We are getting Big Bill versus Mad King in 2026. That would be amazing. What if WWE is at 10 a.m.? I will watch the replay later that day. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be WrestleMania. And plus, you don't give Real Take, so you should switch the channel name to RTW. You know what? You know what? Wall Street, if that is your real name. Oh, by the way, Wall Street Money, I know you're based out of Canada. Are you planning to go to All Out? Because actually, yeah, I forgot to mention, All Out, folks, I am going to be live on the scene for AEW All Out. I believe this is going to be my last wrestling show of the year that isn't the big John Cena show. But I will be in Toronto for AEW All Out live from the Scotia Bank Arena. Myself and Kenny Baum will be on the scene talking. There's going to be a live stream from the scene in Toronto that we're going to be doing. It's going to be a fun time, so I hope you'll join us. If anyone out there is going to be at AEW All Out, Hundo P, hit us up, and we'll see you. If Hogan was alive, I guarantee you Hulk Hogan would be wrestling at WrestleMania. He would be there. He would be there. He would be there, but he would not be shilling his beer there. I guarantee you that. Bro would not be shilling his beer there. Oh, this is a big one. So OSW review. Oh man, here it is. The first Mania since 1996 I'll miss. So OSW Review making it pretty clear that they will not be, Jay Hunter and company making it clear they will not be watching, or at least Jay Hunter making it company, they will not be watching it. Tyrese says, me be there too. Oh, Tyrese, if you're going to be there, hit me up on, guys, if you're going to be there, hit me up on Twitter. Let's meet up. You can also meet Kenny Baum. He's great. Oh yeah, hit me up. Let's good to see people. Bro, what happened to KTR? I mean, I had to leave for like work reasons. I was just too busy at work. Ask Kenny Baum and Just Brian. Ask Kenny Baum and Just Brian. But I think they'll ramp it up. They'll ramp it up. I'm pretty sure when they're ready. It's also like 2K season, so the boys are probably a little cooked right now, or they're cooking, I should say. They're cooking, but yeah. But yeah, man, I'm. It's when you're KTR for life though. So I'm there for them. People away said I stopped watching. That's a lie because people watching no matter what. I mean, I have to see if I watch WrestleMania that year. I have to yeah. We'll see. We will see. I won't lie to you. I legit skip like I did WrestleMania 40 and 41. Yo, just like, yeah, no, I skipped the past 2 manias. Yo, no, 41 is probably a good mania to skip. That was not a good show. KTR coming back when GTA 6 comes out, inshallah. Inshallah. Right, Kevin. But yeah, what do we got? Omar, you missed my message about AEW Dark. I didn't see it. You can resend it. And I'll read it out, but I didn't see it. WrestleMania 46 Iran, get ready. We already did this. WrestleMania, we did this. We got WrestleMania Tehran. We got WrestleMania Pyongyang. We got WrestleMania Tel Aviv. If there's a problematic place out there, you name it, WrestleMania will be there. All Out 2 p.m. I believe it's 3 p.m. I think All Out is 3 p.m. Omar, gonna go to a Saudi show and do Umrah? I mean, look, no. If I do a Saudi show, or if I go if I go for Umrah or Hajj, I'm gonna go for Umrah or Hajj. I'm not gonna make it a wrestling thing. That is going to be just me being me. Also, on KTR, I'm told, mind your own business, people. They'll be back when they want, when they're ready. Don't worry. They'll be back. We got repost. When AEW still had AEW Dark, one of my favorite ideas was for that show to have its own world champion, so you could say, I'm the Dark. The AEW Dark World Champion. I'm the Dark Champion would be crazy. That would be crazy. That would get Twitter stirred up. We got Tegar in the chat saying, I pray that you can do a Hajj ASAP, Omar. Inshallah. Inshallah, everyone who is able to and who wants to is able to go and do Hajj. Inshallah. Oh man, guys. What a stream it has been. I'll be back. Message. That's crazy to do a story after we're talking about Hajj. For me, Saudi Rumble and Mania 43 should have been 2026 together. Oh, that would have been at least an easy skip. Cause you're just like, okay, I can just not watch WWE from January through April, and I'm good. I'm just big chilling. But that does not seem to be what is happening. That would be crazy, though. But what if WWE just did like a 4-month residency in Saudi Arabia? That would be wild. I think people, for multiple reasons, would crash out over that. I think that would not be popular for a variety of reasons. Laparca, who was taken off WWE AAA World Class earlier this week, is back. Okay, shout out to Laparca. Like Laparca 4.0, but Laparca nonetheless. Speaking of GTA 6, Nintendo gave you a $100 game before GTA 6 Pokemon ZA DLC releases the same day as the game, and is $30 plus $70 for the main game. Good stuff. World Commercial Entertainment. Yeah. Automatic. Okay, guys. I have to head out. It is Friday. I'm going to go enjoy my Friday night, and I hope all of you out there do as well. Little bit just before I go, as you guys have seen, playing around with some different things on the channel. Gonna try to get back into doing the news updates. It's not gonna be a daily, but it's gonna be like, probably every other day. I'll do like a big news video covering big news. If there's some breaking news, I'll try to get on and do something. Streams will happen the same cadence traditionally they've been happening. Like, I think we've been doing like 3 or 4 a week, which is good. And then also, still planning to do one, video essay per week. So you'll still get like those video essays, just at a lower cadence. Anyway, that's what's happening. Just the big, little mini, tiny channel update for all of y'all. But thank you guys so much for joining. We got the last question here. Kevin says, your thoughts about WWE product right now? Good, okay, boring, awesome, terrible. I think it's boring. I think there's been lackluster storytelling. The AJ Lee stuff has made it a lot better for me in that whole angle. I think Becky and AJ is very interesting, and I think Becky is probably the most interesting part of it. But overall, I think the product needs to get back to talking about like telling stories and doing meaningful stuff on the show. It's just right now it's just a lot of like Fiend. That's really it. I love how I can just say that and everyone kind of knows what I'm talking about. Appreciate you, Leo. Appreciate you, Wall Street. Appreciate you, Frank. Appreciate you, Kevin. Appreciate Hunter. Everyone who popped in to say hello. I want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart. Michelle, everyone. Cargo has showed up. What's up, my brother from another cousin? What's up, bro? You ain't do the top matches of 2020. It will happen. It is on the list. Don't worry. There's a list. The video is done. It's just got to be released at some point. Last question here. What are your thoughts on the Green Bay Packers? I think they are a Super Bowl favorite despite their shenanigans pregame. I think they're a Super Bowl favorite, and they're going to do very good. All right. Until next time, guys, be happy, be healthy. Carrico says, I missed the live. I was busy rejoicing in my... anyway. My opponent's tears after they tied their match tonight. Oh, shout out to whoever tied in that. I assume it's a soccer game. But anyway, appreciate you guys. Carrico, we'll see you on the rewind. Until next time, be happy, be healthy. I just made the list. Keep it real. Bye, guys.